Trust the Plan podcast. I'm Nick.
And I'm Jim.
And Jim, we believe by providing education and guidance, we can help you retire with confidence.
Peak confidence.
That's right, bottom line. So the big, beautiful bill, we're recording on July 1. It could be passed any time here. But one of the things that's in this bill, we'll see if it makes it to the end, are some updates with 529 plans, okay? So with a lot of talk about colleges becoming too expensive these days, and a lot of people, deciding to go into trades, like becoming a plumber, becoming an electrician, HVAC, whatever the case may be. How does a 529 for education fit in there? And so the new rules would allow us to use a 529 to pay for those types of technical training schools.
Yeah, I think that's great, because, a 4-year college degree isn't necessarily for everybody. And it's talked about all the time about our shortage of tradespeople. So if this can be used as a way to incentivize people to go in a field we need them to go into that they connect with and is a good fit for them, it seems like a home run.
And a lot of parents, right, when we talk about how to save for a college experience, for college funding, we talk about a 529, and then what do they always say first?
They're always worried about, what if they don't go to college?
Yeah, that's right. What if they don't go? So this is one more. Remember, 2 years ago, they changed the rules so you could roll it into a Roth IRA. And now, and before that, they changed the rules so you could use it for private school K through 12.
K to 12, yeah.
Now we have this technical school. So there's more and more options with the 529.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it, and remembering some of the other things that have changed recently, because they certainly have become a lot more flexible and really a great option for college planning. And if not, some of the other good uses for it are outstanding.
And I'm going to throw this in here too. Now, my kid is going to Michigan State in the fall, and this is kind of strange, but he had a unique high school experience. A lot of people are aware. And the price of Michigan State is half the price of the high school. Okay? So we've been paying this big bill, okay?
Right.
And now that's going to go down by half. And so we've been saving all along for the 529, just like we practice what we preach. The thought has crossed my mind, what if we just continue paying like we have been for Michigan State and let the 529 ride? So, if you have like 100,000 in a 529, in 10 years it should be worth, 200,000.
Right.
In 20 years it should be worth 400,000. And maybe at that time, maybe he'll have kids that are ready for school, right? Maybe in 30 years. Right?
Yeah, it's a legacy planning strategy, really.
You could have a 529 that's worth like $1 million.
Yeah.
If you have good growth, all tax free. If we just let it ride, I realize most people are not in a position to do that, and my wife would probably want to talk about this, but the thought crossed my mind, and so I was doing some quick math, and I realized if we earn market returns on the 529 and we have 3% inflation on tuition, it could go for great grandchildren and just be an educational legacy for like 3 generations.
Yeah. It's certainly an interesting idea because you can change the beneficiary. There's no limit on how often you change it. So,
and I believe that according to my AI searches, that you can go to a great grandchild at this point and perhaps further, but it's hard to get that information because no one has really thought about that.
Something you learn about the IRS is they're not always clear on the rules. There's a lot of gray area.
All right, Jim, you were talking about mortgage payoffs earlier today. Tell us, why would you want to pay off your mortgage if it's like a 3% rate?
Yeah, and I think that's something that comes up a lot. People say, I'm never going to pay off my mortgage, right? It's only 3% and rates now are 7%. But I came across something that I thought was really interesting about why you'd want to do that. And it just talks a lot about, peace of mind and things like that, cash flow planning. It's not all about math, right? Math is important. We use it all the time. But just because your rate is low doesn't mean you need to be attached to this mortgage for forever.
Well, if I can earn, let's say, 8% on an investment, I'm better off keeping the investment and keeping the 3% mortgage, right?
Well, that's the math part of it, right?
Yeah.
So the trade-off of that is if you want the peace of mind, if you want, you know, the psychological benefit of knowing that you don't owe anybody anything. You're not continuing to work because you have to pay the mortgage, right? If you pay off a mortgage, whatever the rate is, you pay off any other debts. If don't have those obligations hanging over your head, you now all of a sudden have more freedom, more choice to do what you want.
I agree. So we did, when my wife quit, she sold her share of the practice, and we used that money to pay off the house. This is in 2016.
Okay.
So we did that, and I felt great.
Yeah.
But then what did we do? We got a great big home equity line and then went and bought more rentals.
Right.
And so that was good too, but it created a great big new mortgage.
Yeah, and it worked out in your situation, but it doesn't always, right? And that's one of the takeaways too, is debt exposes you to risk.
Definitely.
Right? If you take on a new mortgage and you're going to rent the house and cash flow it, well, what happens if you can't keep a renter? What happens if the renter trashes the place, right? You're now exposed to this additional risk that you need to be able to handle outside of the cash flow of the property.
Yep. So when we did this, then we ended up changing the HELOC to a regular mortgage, locking it at like 2.6% on a 15-year. So I'm 46, and there's, I believe, 12 years left on that. So that takes me to 58. Well, that's great. So I have no urgency to make extra payments because it's going to be gone at 58, and it's only 2.6%.
Yep.
So my mindset is let it ride, but I've been in this mindset before, paying it off early, and I would say if I had a 30-year, I would definitely pay extra to get it to be like the 12-year that I just mentioned.
Right. Yeah. When we do our retirement planning and we're talking about these things, you know, the less money that you need to go into retirement makes the plan work so much better. So if you are stuck in a mortgage that goes beyond your desired retirement age, you need more cash flow, you need more money out of the portfolio to make that payment. It just makes it that much harder to retire.
So for example, $1,000 a month payment, which is a small mortgage in today's standards, requires a $300,000 portfolio. And that's not even including the taxes. So, you might think, oh, well, it's a low rate, but every 1,000 is $300K. So it is a big deal, right? So if you can pay extra early on, buy it down, make sure that the term is gone before retirement. And by the way, you might think you want to retire at 65, but maybe something happens. Maybe there's a disability, an illness, a downsize. So shoot for 60, shoot for 58 for the payoff. Give yourself a buffer.
Yeah, no, I think that's really good advice. We just don't know. We have people all the time say, "Oh, I'm going to work till I'm 70," and you're right. It happens where you can't work to 70. Your job doesn't exist. You have a reason that you're not unable to continue doing that. So these are all reasons that keep just keep you flexible, keep more options on the table for you.
All right. If you would like to learn more about the 529 rules or learn about what you should do with your mortgage, and ask us what we think you should do with your mortgage in terms of payoff, you can schedule an appointment online at peakwm.com.